Bang SI-Hyuk is resting in the hospital. He was infected with a virus that required him to undergo intensive care for several days. However, his thoughts never left his foster children, especially Jungkook, who would soon celebrate his birthday. Bang SI-Hyuk stared at the ceiling of his hospital room with a determined gaze. He did not want Jungkook to feel sad just because he could not be there in person. With the remaining strength, he grabbed his cell phone and called his trusted staff, Jaehoon. Jaehoon, I want you to prepare a special gift for Jungkook. I may not be able to get out of the hospital anytime soon, but I want to make sure he gets something meaningful, he said in a hoarse voice. Jaehoon, who knew how much Bang SI-Hyuk cared about the BTS members, immediately agreed to the request. Okay, sir. What kind of gift do you want for him? Bang SI-Hyuk smiled weakly. I want to give him a song that I wrote especially for him. A song that can express how proud I am of him. I had already created the melody before I got sick, but the lyrics are not finished yet. Jaehoon immediately understood what his boss meant. With great enthusiasm, he gathered the production team and began to finish the lyrics of the song, according to Bang SI-Hyuk's instructions, who continued to provide direction from the hospital via video call. Jungkook's birthday arrived. In the HYBE practice room, the BTS members and staff gathered to celebrate the special day. Luxurious decorations adorned the room, with gold and purple balloons filling the corners. In the middle of the room, there was a large tiered cake made especially for Jungkook. Suddenly, the big screen in the room lit up, showing Bang SI-Hyuk's face still lying in the hospital. Everyone fell silent, then smiled with emotion seeing it. Jungkook, he said with a voice full of warmth. I may not be able to be there with you, but I want to give you something that comes from my heart. The music began to play, a new song created especially for Jungkook. The lyrics describe the Maknae's journey from a shy child to a world superstar. The atmosphere became emotional as the song played, with a montage video showing Jungkook's best moments from his trainee days to becoming part of the world-famous BTS. Jungkook's eyes filled with tears as he heard this. Everyone in the room was touched, realizing how deep Bang SI-Hyuk's affection was for them. Several other members, such as Jimin and RM, also wiped away their tears. After the song ended, Bang SI-Hyuk smiled. Happy birthday, Jungkook. Keep shining. Jungkook held back his tears, then bowed deeply towards the screen. Thank you, Bang PD-nim. This is the best gift I've ever received. But the surprises weren't over yet. Jaehoon then brought a small box and handed it to Jungkook. Curious, he opened the box and found a necklace with a microphone pendant, a symbol of his journey as a singer. Jungkook slowly opened his eyes. The white light from the hospital lights dazzled his vision. His head felt heavy, his body weak, and the sound of the heart monitor machine beating softly beside him. He tried to move his fingers, but his body felt like it was tied to an invisible weight. Hyung. His voice was hoarse, almost inaudible. Beside him, Jimin, who was sitting with a worried face, immediately approached. Jungkook. Are you awake? Oh my god, you made us all panic. Jimin held his hand tightly. Jungkook could see his slightly puffy face, as if he had been crying. He tried to remember what happened. The last thing he remembered was that he was practicing dancing for BTS's latest comeback. His body was already feeling hot at that time, but he forced himself to continue practicing, until suddenly, everything went dark. Why am I here? Jungkook asked in a weak voice. You fainted during practice, Jimin answered softly. The doctor said you had a rare virus. Your immune system has decreased drastically, that's why you are very weak. Jungkook stared at the ceiling, his mind starting to work. No wonder his body felt so tired, like all his energy had been sucked out. Not long after, the door to the hospital room opened. Namjoon and Taehyun entered with anxious faces, followed by a doctor carrying a clipboard in his hand. "Are you awake?" Namjoon's voice sounded relieved. Jungkook nodded weakly. "I'm fine, Hyun." "Don't say that, you're not fine," Taehyun said in an annoyed but caring tone. "You almost gave us all a heart attack." The doctor smiled thinly and approached Jungkook's bed. "Jungkook, you have a fairly rare viral infection. Luckily, we found it early, so we could give you intensive care before your condition got worse." Jungkook sighed softly. "How long do I have to stay here?" "We have to monitor your condition for at least a week. After that, you still have to rest a lot and not push your body too hard," the doctor explained. Jungkook was silent. 1 week. That meant he would miss practice, maybe some important schedules too. What about their comeback? What about the army who was waiting? As if reading his mind, Namjoon patted his shoulder gently. "Don't think about work right now. The most important thing is that you get better first." "Yes, and don't try to practice yet," Taehyun added. "We'll make sure you get a good rest." Jungkook looked at his hyungs one by one. They all looked exhausted, probably having been on guard at the hospital since he passed out. There were dark circles under their eyes, but behind them, there was genuine concern and affection. "I don't want to disappoint Army," he muttered softly. "You won't disappoint anyone, Jungkookie," Jimin said. "Army cares more about your health than your comeback. They are waiting for you to get better, not forcing you to work while sick." Jungkook fell silent, then looked at Jimin, who was smiling softly. He knew Jimin was right. But